Hello everybody. Today I'm gonna discuss about the culture and the mythology because I believe mythology is a way to help us to eliminate the culture barriers that are always happening in our nowadays lives. So today I invited my classmate and friends Joe right here and to discuss this problem with me. So Joe, have you ever had any prejudice caused by cultural differences?
Yes, for example, I once asked my friend from Mongolia if they all go to school by house. This prejudice may be because I don't understand their lifestyle and cultural traditions. Cultural prejudice is a problem we have always faced, but it cannot be solved because people living in different areas and cannot communicate effectively.
So let's say, do you believe that myths will eliminate cultural prejudice?
No, I don't believe it because from a historical perspective, religion is derived from mythology, right? And many religious doctrines are based on the value of the gods they believe in. And however, there are often more contradictions and conflicts between religions. From this point of view, I think mythology cannot eliminate prejudice among people. No matter what kind of civilization and culture is a little bit exclusive, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, but let's not too rush to our conclusion. Let me introduce some definition of myths first. Mythology is a body of traditional stories belonging to a particular culture. This story usually involves supernatural beings or events, and often explain the origin of natural phenomena or cultural customs. In many cases, mythology also serves as a way to teach moral values and spiritual lessons. While the exact origin of the mythology are difficult to determine, it is thought that the concept of myth was first used by ancient Greeks, possibly beginning in the 8th century BC. However, it is probably older than that, with some scholars believing that myths are timeless and may have appeared in different forms throughout history. The earliest Western mythology comes from cultures such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Greece. Greek mythology is a body of myths and teachings that were believed by ancient Greeks to be true, began emerging during the 8th century BC. The earliest Greek and Roman mythology primarily consists of stories about gods such as Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, and myths concerning heroes, for example, King Midas. Many tales describe how these mythological characters interacted with humans and how they lived, such as with the abundance of food in the Mediterranean climate. By around 750 BC, mythology began to evolve into a more constructed form that would allow for stories to unfold in a logical manner. This is known as the classical period and was created by poems. So after the classical period, mythology continued to evolve in different ways across various cultures. For example, Norse mythology features tales about gods such as Odin, Thor, and Loki, as well as legendary heroes such as Beowulf. Japanese mythology, meanwhile, it is based on the Shinto religion and includes stories about spirits known as kami, as well as characters such as the monkey god Sarotahiko. So myths exist in the beginning of human civilization. However, although our way of life has changed dramatically from that and now, the myths still around our lives. What do you think of that?
Actually, I don't know much about that, but I have heard that there are many mythological works appearing like in games and movies.
Right. The myth has actually penetrated into every corner of our modern media. The video game, as you know, like God of the War. It is a video game series in which players take on the role of Kratos, a Spartan warrior who seeks revenge against the gods who have betrayed him. In this game, mythology is used as to create a dark and violent world in which the player must fight against all odds to survive. In the movie perspective, The Lord of the Rings, a group of friends known as the Fellowship of the Ring travel through Middle-earth in order to destroy the ring, the One Ring, which is believed to be the source of all evil. Mythology is used in this movie as a way of creating a dark and dangerous world in which the character must fight. And also in books, I think everybody in the high school will read Percy Jackson. This book series is based on the Greek mythology, as you know, and tells the story of a 12-year-old boy, Percy Jackson, who discovers that he is a demigod, which is half human and half god. It uses mythology as a way of teaching moral values such as courage and fighting against the odds. I have introduced so many sources that in our modern life. Now you have to admit that the history of myths is closely related to our modern life, right?
Yeah, it seems that I still underestimated the wisdom of the ancient people. And then you say before that mythology can eliminate prejudice among people. So we have to learn more about the mythology. Can mythology represent culture?
Yes, of course. Mythology is actually a manifestation of our traditional culture. There are many different types of mythology, but they often share similar themes and motives. For example, one example of this is the Japanese myth of kami, which is based on the Shinto religion. The kami are spirits that inhabited nature objects such as a tree and rocks, and they play an important role in Japanese culture. In Japan, such mythology is used as a way of teaching moral values such as courage and fighting against the odds. This is because, according to Japanese culture, the world is seen as a place where people must constantly struggle against evil forces in order to survive. Another myth is that of Chinese Dragon King. In this myth, the Dragon King is a water spirit that possesses power over rivers and ocean. It was believed that he could rise to heaven and submerge to the depths of the hell in order to bring rain when it was needed. There are many different types of mythology, but they often share similar themes and motives. As a result, many of the myths and legends from Japan feature brave heroes who fight against overwhelming odds. However, not all mythology is created equal. Some myths are more popular and well-known than others, and this can be due to the variety of culture it comes from and the time period it was created in. It is also worth noting that different people within a culture may have different beliefs about mythology, which can lead to a different interpretation of the same myth. So, for example, the Norse myths that were mentioned in Peace provided a good example of this point. The most famous story about Thor is when he slammed his hammer to his enemies and created thunder. This story is similar to Zeus' legendary lightning bolt, which show how many cultures share common ideas about mythology. Therefore, mythology can be seen as a type of culture, but it is not always equally important or well known in different countries. It is also worth noting that the interpretation of myths can vary depending on the individuals or group of people, which them involve. As a result, it often plays a very important role in shaping the culture of a country.
So you have said so much, but I think you still didn't say how the myth specifically eliminates the cultural barriers.
Yes, my point is that we should read more myths because they are our traditional cultures and we should protect them. At the same time, in this productivity-oriented society, how do we preserve our traditional culture under the wealth of rapid development? I think people should pay more attention to the spirituality construction, such as like cultural exchange. Mythology is a very good medium for people to have spiritual communication. The myths can help people to develop a better understanding of others' culture. This is because myths often have similar themes and motives, which means that it can be used to study similarity in different cultures. For example, the movie Okami uses Japanese mythological symbols such as kami and amaterasu to help show how these stories influence Japanese culture today. The same ideas apply to other types of mythology, which can be found in different religions and countries. For example, the book The Samsara Club shows how many different cultures have similar stories about common topics such as love and loss. This helps show that culture is not limited to a single country or ethical group, but can be shared by people who live in different regions of the world. Myths are stories that provide us with a glimpse of how people in different cultures throughout the world. Therefore, they are not always equally important or well known within each culture. It is also important that different interpretations of myths can be seen depending on the individual or group of people involved. However, it is clear that mythology has the ability to unite different cultures and help us understand each one better. All in all, mythology can provide insights into other cultures and show similarity between different parts of the world. It can also help to break down the barriers between them and promote understanding and cooperation between peoples from different backgrounds. Mythology is a form of expression that enables countries to express their local culture through stories that represent the history or beliefs that are important to a specific region. It can also show how culture is not limited to a single country or ethnic group, but can be shared by people who live in a different region of the world. So now, I have said so much. What do you want to do right now most?
I agree with you, and I think we humans should work hard in the process of culture dissemination and the elimination of prejudice. And myths may be a good medium to help us better understand each other. But some people cannot hold an open mind which accept like every kind of foreign culture, or the culture itself has huge exclusivity. But I feel that like mythology has given us a possibility, allowing us to see we can eliminate the prejudice between people.
Yeah, thank you. So that's all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.